Yo, what's good guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Today we have a quick detailed look and review of a brand new shoe, at least brand new to the States, and it's these guys right here. This is the Nike Kyrie Flytrap 2. So this guy right here, again, it's the Flytrap 2. It's the second installment of Kyrie's kind of like budget line. So this line retails for under $100. I believe the Kyrie 5 right now, the price was increased to about $130. So these guys were $79, so 80 bucks altogether. Now, as far as a signature line goes, that's a great price. That's a great entry price. The downside to that is the tech features are definitely not comparable to the main signature model. This is more of a downgrade. Not always a bad thing, but it just kind of depends on what you want, what you're looking for, or for some people what they can actually afford. Tech specs on these guys is exactly the same as the first model. So you have a Phylon midsole, and then underneath that or within that you have a 4-foot zoom unit, and it's not like a substantial zoom air unit or anything. It's a small little hex unit. It's right underneath the ball of your foot, and that's been kind of like a complaint with the early signature models for Kyrie, the Kyrie 1, not the Kyrie 2, but the Kyrie Low, the ones with the 4-foot units. They've been just little rectangle bags, and they cover kind of like that area. A lot of people don't like those. I personally not a fan unless it's coupled with like a nicer foam. And these guys right here have even less zoom than that. The first Kyrie Flytrap did not feel bad underfoot. They were actually surprisingly comfortable given, you know, all things like very low tech and all that stuff. These ones, I'm not so sure. The try-on was just kind of, you know, mediocre. The foam here feels very firm compared to the original model. So I'm not expecting anything like great as far as underfoot feel or cushion. I am expecting greater court feel out of this shoe because of those features. One thing that I definitely don't like upon trying them on and seeing them in person is the tooling is like super rounded, and that's something that they've been not straying away from, but it's something that they've been fine-tuning in the mainline signature. Like the Kyrie 5 to me felt the best underfoot. It felt the most stable because they've kind of like subdued that round tooling. They made it real nice and flat from heel to toe, and then they rounded up the edges. This guy right here, when I put it on, it really reminds me of the Kyrie 2s, which was super rounded. It was like playing in like a little like a wobbly shoe, and some people like that. I personally don't. I like, you know, a more stable base. So that's the one thing upon trying them on, besides the cushion, that was very noticeable, very apparent, where I was kind of like, I don't know about that. That doesn't feel too great. However, the traction on these guys looks like a main upgrade.
It's crazy looking. It looks like the Maze Runner.
Not just that, but like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of flat, which is a small disappointment because on like a certain surfaces slip a little bit. But I think for outdoor surfaces, this is probably going to last a lot longer than the Kyrie 5. The Kyrie 5 has like a softer rubber compound, and these guys definitely have a firm, you know, setup and everything. You feel it and everything. It's nice and thick. I think that people that do play outdoors predominantly, especially for something that's under 100, this is like a good deal for that. It just sucks that the cushion doesn't kind of like meet outdoor requirements, because that's a much harder surface than a wood floor inside. The materials originally, like when you look at them online through like catalog images and all that stuff, the materials look to be exactly the same as the first generation model, but getting them in hand, it's a lot nicer. Like I'm actually surprised with how nice the woven material is on this version. The original one felt kind of cheap. I was told by one of the design team members that it was actually like a really strong, you know, woven material that they used. This one feels even stronger, and it looks a lot better too, at least in my opinion. So I'm definitely happy about that. You still have some fuse there on the toe box area for that kind of like toe drag spot, that high wear area zone. I love the little features that they put in there. That's the Kyrie logo. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that's really cool. It's got this number 11 on that side. Super slick. I love the little swoosh, because even though this is like a budget model, this type of feeling right here, this look looks more premium.
Yeah,
you know?
It doesn't look like it was slapped on.
No, it doesn't look like a cheap shoe. That's what I like about these. They don't look cheap, even though they were affordable. It's just that the tech specs are the one thing that kind of like you could tell that there was not a lot to work with as far as budget. But I think that they did a great job overall. I really like the material on the back too. It's kind of like a different texture. It's like a real thick textile and everything. It's kind of like the Dames, the Dame 2s.
Okay.
That like jacquard that they use on the back, or not on the back, but on like the full-on shoe. Like that's what this reminds me of. I love the heel counter. Some people don't like it. They say it's like Kobe 6-ish, something like that, which is, you know, it's valid and everything because the Kobe's do have an external heel counter, but I think that it looks dope, and I love that they put the Kyrie logo in there. It's just little things like that I think have gone a long way. Something that they've also carried over from the original model is the bungee strap. So that's a nice touch. It gives you a nice snug feeling on foot.
I thought at first that they had skipped a loop tying them.
No, they actually tuck it under, which which is like real weird. The bungee in the first one, when you would tighten it up, it would bunch because it was like
too loose.
It would get loose once you made it taut, but that shoe fit pretty wide after breaking them in. This one is the opposite. Like they felt really snug, true to size lengthwise, but they feel much more narrow than the original one. The original one was like a great shoe for wide footers. I'm not so sure if this is gonna be the same. There is overseas versions though. That's where they actually released first, was overseas in like the Philippines and China. So if you do end up with a pair from over there, the first thing to note is that they have XDR outsoles. So that's just like a standard over there for overseas releases. So that's great for durability of the outsole. And then on top of that, they always build the shoe on a wider last. So those are meant for wide footers because that's predominantly what they have over in Asia versus here in the States. The tongue looks very similar, but it's not a burrito style tongue. It's just a more traditional tongue. It's kind of like I would consider it like a 3/4 booty. Like it's kind of like connected, but like way down here, not up here. I think that these are cool, true to size, like I was saying earlier, for anybody interested. I grabbed these over at Famous Footwear in store. I did buy them earlier from a different online retailer, but I've gotten shipping confirmation. It's been 10 days now, and all I've gotten, and I just got it yesterday, so after 9 days of waiting, they sent me, we have your shipment ready to ship, but they still haven't shipped it. So I'm not even gonna plug them. They get a straight F, an F minus. You know, as soon as those come in, they're going right back. I'm returning them. I don't with, you know, retailers and stuff like that dick you around. It was a super bad move. Again, I'm not even gonna plug them, so, cause I don't want them to get like, I would never recommend them. Or should I say something so that you don't buy from them?
How'd you come across them?
I was referred to them by somebody.
Oh.
So,
with a positive?
I wouldn't say it was a positive. It was just,
hey, I found
hey,
them
they
here.
have them here, and it was like, if you sign up for their email newsletter, you get 10% off. So I was like, cool. So I got them for under retail. It's been 10 days, and they're not even like in the process of coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a long ass time, man. Like I said, like I give Nike a lot of shit a lot of times because they're the top brand, right? They're the ones. They're the best at what they do. So if I'm giving them a hard time, it's mostly in a place of like, you've earned that. But like they have the best customer service, they have the best return policy, and they have the best shipping. And a lot of times you don't pay extra for that shipping.
Well, except for that tape they've been putting on all their
Well,
boxes.
that's something new, but I don't know whose idea that was, but that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like putting the Just Do It tape, like letting everybody know that, because they used to be like, it used to be pretty smart. Like you used to get a package from Nike and the shipping address, instead of saying like Nike Inc.
It's a Blue Ribbon or something?
Yeah,
like
Blue
that?
Ribbon Sports, the original like name of the company and all that stuff. So like anybody that's not really like into sneakers, like they might like see a shoe and be like, ooh, I want to take that, right? But like if you were to read that label, instead of like if you read like, oh, this is from Best Buy, you think something electronic is in there, so you might jack that. When you see Blue Ribbon Sports, it could be clothes, it could be anything, who knows? Nobody would really tamper with the box, but now there's a swoosh on it, there's a Just Do It tape. It's not a good look.
Adidas used to do that when they would send us the...
Well, those were press things, though.
Exactly, but I was always like, you do realize that sometimes these sit outside.
Yeah, but I mean like Champs would do it too. And
Yeah.
I know that they're trying to like make the experience feel nicer. Like they want to make it feel premium.
Okay, well,
You know?
the inside of the box.
I completely get it. But like I'm just saying is that that's the intention.
I think what they should do is they should do something with inside the cardboard box. Instead of decorating the outside of the cardboard box. It would still be cool if you open the flaps and you're like,
Honestly,
it's a waste of money either way, but
exactly.
still,
in
if you're
terms of
trying.
in terms of shipping, just put it in the box because somebody's gonna have to pay for that.
No, I get it, but
And
if
that's
you're wasting
probably-
your money somewhere.
No, I'm just saying though is that the people that are probably going to end up paying for like those like little like added bonuses are going to be the consumers. That's going to be their excuse to raise the prices a little bit. I would prefer them just to come in a cardboard box. I don't care what the color, I don't care any of that stuff. I think it's interesting, but I still stand by the fact that besides Sunlight Station, Nike has the best customer service. So it's disheartening and disappointing when you buy a product from some other, you know, especially like the place where I bought them from, where it was like a big like sports retailer. They're not super big, but like they're big enough. Where's the package? So that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. Let me know your thoughts on them down below in the comment section. Again, they're available now. I'll leave a link in the description box to where I got them from Famous Footwear. That is a reputable online and in-store retailer for anybody wondering.
And they're always doing buy one, get one half off.
Yes, it's like a pay less for name brand stuff. I think that these are cool. I'm interested to see how they do on court, and let me know again your thoughts. So until next time, guys, have a good one. I do like the way that these look.
I like the colors,
I think maybe that's what I like. Like they're like Tiffany.
and I always love a gray shoe.
Well, that's another thing too, is that I like the gray. Actually, I like the way that the model looks, especially compared to the first one. The first one was kind of generic looking, and these ones I don't feel are as, like they got a little bit of flavor to them. I like the little heel counter.
I could see the Kyrie logo on the side, but I'm glad you explained the 11 on the other side.
You didn't know that?
My eyes were still trying to read it the other way.
This way?
Yes, and I'm like, I can't, I'm trying.
It's rain.
What is it?
What does Spider-Man Noir say? When his cape is flapping in the wind and it smells like rain.
Wherever I go, the wind follows. And the wind, it smells like rain.